I see the evolution of clinical pharmacology very much in association with our own experience in Leiden, which is within the context of Center for Human Drug Research, because they have developed that very successfully, not only as a discipline, but also as an application over the past 30 years. Basically, not just to apply clinical principles to clinical medicine, so to speak, in terms of trials, but also to develop innovative methodologies, which are at least as important, because that's where you find, through which you find new information, which adds very much to existing knowledge and may also not only advance but also accelerate drug development.
The main thing I think I've seen in terms of the evolution of clinical pharmacology is that we've moved from thinking we know what treatments do to really finding out very reliably what they do, in particular through the development of much better randomized controlled trials. What we're seeing now, though, is obstacles to doing good trials through over-regulation, through over-interpretation of regulation. And if we're not very careful, we won't continue to evolve, but we will, like the dinosaurs, die out.
The approach to drug development has really changed dramatically over the last 20 years, become much more quantitative, much more analytical, and hopefully, I think it has, but that will continue to increase our likelihood of success. And I think Adam and the CHDR have had that approach, and all the people at CHDR have that approach, and they've contributed significantly to the field.
Well, I think the low-hanging fruit has already been harvested, and I think the focus will be on signal finding in patient populations with exact dose finding. That will be our challenge in the coming decades, I think.
This is a replica of one of Trix's bones that you helped us acquire.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm very interested to see where we are going in the early phase drug development, because what we see in patients and in diseases, that you see that genetic factors in diseases are being identified, different genetic factors, and I would be interested to see if the early phase drug development is also going into more personalized patient research and more personalized medicine.
I think the drug development is even more complicated, and we deal with even more complex issues these days, and we need it more than ever before. And in the CNS area, which is my particular area of focus, there are new tools available to understand drug action in the brain and understand the workings of the brain, and we need to exploit those tools to get that basic understanding of drug action. And it's a fundamental capability that the pharmaceutical industry needs, and CHDR have been very important in providing that.
So 30 years of clinical pharmacology is actually quite short if you look back at it. But what's important is what's going to come, I think, not what has been. And there's so many new drugs we have to develop. There's so much work that you can only do it from really a fantastic base, and I think at CHDR we have the best base in the world. You can look around us and see this huge family of expertise, and I think if it happens anywhere, it'll happen here.
My wish for CHDR is for them to continue to be free thinkers and to contribute in very original ways to the development of new drugs. Another 30 years for them to go.
First, I would like to congratulate CHDR and in particular Adam Cohen. And I wish CHDR for the next coming years a lot of success, but also a lot of science and a lot of education for young new people entering this field.
Also for me, first of all, I would like to congratulate the CHDR, but I wish that they continue with innovation and evaluation of interventions in healthcare. And I hope that they will really do that we will have a party in the next decade as well.
My main wish for the 30th year anniversary is that it continues the way it is. What's extraordinary is the vibrance, the enthusiasm, the kind of interactions between all sorts of different people with different approaches coming together. And to have maintained that for so long, that sort of enthusiasm, I think is extraordinary, and long may it continue to do so.
On behalf of Janssen Pharmaceuticals, I want to congratulate CHDR with its 30th anniversary, and I hope to collaborate frequently in the next few years again.
I've been here for a number of these birthday celebrations. They're wonderful events. Happy birthday to everyone. And just to say, Adam, since I met him 20-something years ago, hasn't aged a day.
We very much hope and wish that it will continue to flourish in the way it's done in the past.
What's been created here is a flagship for how things should be done, and that's the integration of industry and academic research and of training of talented young people and their engagement in the science. And we need to preserve that, take it forward, and make sure that it goes to be even stronger.
It's my wish for the 30th anniversary of CHDR that in the next 30 years we will continue to develop in the way that we've developed so far, and that we will continue to do drug studies where we add value, and that we will continue to develop people so that in 30 years we'll have 1,000 people like this sitting here and celebrating 60 years of CHDR.
CHDR can be so proud of what they have achieved. I had the privilege to be part of this at the very beginning when we started in the container, and see where we are now. My wish is actually that you keep that momentum, this freshness and this readiness to actually look around the corner for new innovation and pushing drug development and the way we do it forward.
What I actually wish for the next 30 years for CHDR is that it will be as prosperous and as productive and as innovative as it has been over the last years. There's a whole new world that awaits us. It's the biotech world, where clinical research is much closer to the core of the business. We're facing a world of digitization. There's no end to the creativity and the fantasy of the researchers here that could be employed by CHDR, and I wish you all the best.